On a balmy evening in July 2024, the quiet town of Bushey, Hertfordshire, nestled in the green folds of southeast England, was shattered by a phone call that would unravel a nightmare. At 4:47 p.m., a trembling voice belonging to Hannah Hunt reached the emergency operator, her words laced with terror. She feared for her life. The operator, sensing the gravity, dispatched officers to a modest home on Ashland Close, a street lined with tidy lawns and unassuming charm. Bushey, a haven for families and professionals craving proximity to London's pulse yet cloaked in rural calm, was about to reveal a darkness none could have anticipated. Officers arrived at a scene that chilled even the most seasoned among them. In the central doorway, Hannah Hunt, a young beautician, clung to life, a crossbow bolt lodged in her chest. Her breaths were shallow, her eyes wide with the weight of what she'd witnessed. As police ventured deeper into the house, the horror multiplied. In an adjacent room, two more women lay lifeless. Carol Hunt, 61, the family matriarch, riddled with stab wounds, her hands and knees bearing the marks of a desperate fight for survival, and Louise Hunt, 25, Hannah's sister, bound with duct tape at her wrists and ankles, a single crossbow bolt piercing her heart. The brutality was staggering, the air thick with the residue of violence. Within minutes, Hannah succumbed to her injuries, joining her mother and sister in death. 3 women, 1 family, massacred in their own home. The killer? Gone, vanished into the evening haze. Bushey's quiet streets buzzed with dread as armed police swarmed the area, urging residents to lock their doors. Neighbors whispered screams heard earlier, unsure if they were playful or perilous. Doorbell cameras and dash cams were scoured, each frame a potential key to unlocking the mystery. The Hunt family, John, Carol, and their daughters Hannah, Louise, and Amy, was well known, a fixture of warmth in the community. John, a charismatic BBC racing commentator, was absent that evening, his alibi ironclad as he called races miles away. Amy, the surviving daughter, was elsewhere, spared by chance. But John had a theory, one that would ignite a firestorm of controversy and expose a web of deceit, misogyny, and familial dysfunction. The trail led to Kyle Clifford, a 26-year-old security guard from Enfield, a gritty town north of London. Kyle was Louise's ex-boyfriend, a man whose reputation preceded him like a storm cloud. Born April 5, 1998, Kyle grew up in a cramped 3-bedroom home with 5 siblings, his childhood a churn of instability. Frequent moves fractured his friendships, and a volatile temper made him a pariah at school. His brief stint in the British Army's Queen's Dragoon Guards only deepened his darkness. Colleagues whispered his obsession with violent videos and branded him a misogynist. Discharged or departed by 2022, he returned to Enfield, taking a job as a security guard where his arrogance and explosive temper alienated co-workers. Locals described him as a ticking bomb, a man who flipped at the smallest slight. Louise, by contrast, was a beacon of light, a dog groomer who ran Groom & Glow from her family's backyard. She was trained in pet first aid and radiated kindness. Her clients adored her, not just for her skill but for her warmth, a smile that disarmed even the grumpiest mornings. She frequented Bushey Grove Gym, her laughter echoing among friends. But in 2022, her life took a fateful turn when she met Kyle. Despite warnings from her family and friends, who saw his red flags, his temper, his controlling nature, Louise believed she could tame him. Love, she thought, could rewrite his story. For a time, it seemed possible. Kyle's rough edges softened in her presence, and by early 2023, they were a couple. But the cracks soon appeared. Kyle's demands grew suffocating. No makeup, no revealing clothes, no leaving the house without his approval. He didn't even live with her, yet his control tightened like a noose. His online habits darkened, drawn to influencers peddling toxic ideologies that fueled his rage against women. Louise's friends watched in horror as she shrank under his shadow, her vibrant spirit dimming. Her family begged her to leave, but love blinded her. She was 25, and Kyle was her first serious relationship, a bond she couldn't bear to break. By June 2024, the strain was unbearable. Louise, overwhelmed, crashed her car into a telephone pole, her emotions spilling over. On June 26, she found the courage to end it. In a text, She poured out her heart. I'm so sorry, Kyle. I don't know that in the future, if we both do the work on ourselves, this could be something amazing, but right now, I owe it to myself to take some space and walk away from my own sanity and health. Thank you for the incredible time we've had this year. I hope you know how much I love you and will for a long time. Kyle's reply was deceptively calm. Thank you for the clarity, Louise. I love you so much and will do for a long time. But the facade crumbled within hours. Hundreds of messages flooded her phone, each more desperate, more enraged. He blamed her family, her friends, anyone who dared pull her away. In his mind, they'd stolen her from him. Kyle's obsession spiraled into a sinister plot. If he couldn't have Louise, no one would. If he couldn't live with her, he wouldn't live at all. On June 30th, he began his preparations, scouring the internet for weapons. He spent 357 pounds on a crossbow and bolts, 89 pounds on a butcher's knife, and later bought rope, duct tape, and an air pistol. Surveillance footage captured him at a tool shop, deliberating over rope lengths as if planning a camping trip, not a slaughter. He wrote letters to his family, to himself, dripping with self-pity. Please don't think of me as throwing my life away. I am grateful for everything and everyone. I know you'll have so many questions, but none of you have failed. This is my decision to be at peace. Another to himself. I don't want to live without her. Nothing can make me happy. On July 8th, Kyle's research took a bizarre turn. He watched explicit videos of a prison warden scandal, perhaps fantasizing about life behind bars. He stalked Carol's Facebook, tracked John's racing schedule, even checked the weather. Every detail meticulously planned. On July 9th, he struck. At 1:37 p.m., he parked near the Hunt home, confirming John's absence. Armed with a bag of Louise's clothes and a thank you card for her parents, he knocked. Carol, surprised or disarmed by his gesture, let him in. The moment the door closed, Kyle's mask fell. He stabbed Carol repeatedly, her defensive wounds a testament to her fight. Leaving her body, he retrieved his crossbow from his car. Louise, working in the garden, entered the house unaware. Kyle ambushed her, binding her with duct tape and gagging her. For 2.5 hours, he subjected her to unspeakable horrors, his rage fueled by rejection and misogyny. As Hannah returned home, expecting a normal evening, Kyle shot her with a crossbow bolt. Her final act was a desperate text to her boyfriend. Call the police, Leggy. Kyle here. He's tying us up. She dialed 999, crawling toward her mother and sister's bodies, her strength fading. Officers arrived too late to save her. The scene left responders reeling. Some required counseling. Kyle, the prime suspect, had fled, captured on a neighbor's camera at 6:55 p.m., his crossbow hidden under a cloth as he strolled to his car. A citywide manhunt ensued, armed police combing North London and Bushey. At 8 a.m. the next day, they raided Kyle's Enfield home, finding his letters confessing his intent. An anonymous tip led them to Hillyfield Cemetery, just 100 meters from his family's house. There, Kyle, cornered and defiant, turned his crossbow on himself. The bolt pierced his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed but alive, a cruel twist for a man who sought death. Hospitalized under guard, Kyle underwent grueling surgeries, his voice reduced to a rasp. On September 16th, 70 days after the murders, he faced questioning. His responses were curt. No comment, despite overwhelming evidence. Purchases, letters, footage. He denied sexually assaulting Louise, forced her family to endure a harrowing trial. The jury, unmoved by his evasions, took 45 minutes to convict him of murder, sexual assault, false imprisonment, and weapons charges. A whole life order ensured he'd never walk free. His additional 30-year sentence a footnote to his eternal confinement. The judge's words cut deep. You are soaked in self-pity and hold all women in utter contempt. But the story doesn't end there. A shocking revelation emerged. Kyle's brother, Bradley Clifford, was already in prison for murder. In 2017, Bradley, then 24, killed 17-year-old Sohan Khan in a fit of rage over a chipped side mirror on his prized Ford Mustang. After a pub brawl, Bradley chased Sohan and his friend Joshua Francis on their moped, ramming them at high speed. Sohun died. Joshua was gravely injured. Bradley's trial exposed his violent nature. WhatsApp messages bragged of knifing rivals. Sentenced to 23 years, he remained unrepentant. The Clifford brothers' crime sparked fierce debate. Was their violence genetic, a product of a toxic upbringing, or a chilling coincidence? Their parents, silent in the aftermath, faced scrutiny for raising two killers. John Hunt's statement to Kyle resonated for both. You are a psychopath who disguises himself as human. Your misogyny is off the scale. The screams of hell await you. The controversy swelled. Activists decried the brothers' misogyny and entitlement, while others questioned the system's failure to intervene earlier, citing Kyle's Army tenure and Bradley's unchecked aggression. Louise, Hannah, and Carol were more than victims. Louise's smile lit up Bushy. Hannah's kindness touched her clients. Carol's love anchored her family. Their loss left a void, their story a warning. As Kyle languishes in a hospital bed, paralyzed and voiceless, and Bradley rots in a cell, the question lingers. What breeds such monsters? The Hunt's tragedy, etched in blood and betrayal, demands answers society may never fully grasp.